Hey, welcome. Today, we're diving into something huge, AI transformation. And here's the secret. It's not really about the tech you buy. It's all about the playbook you run. We're going to break down the 5 absolute core principles that separate the organizations that win with AI from those that get left behind. Let's jump right in. But first, let's start with a number that should honestly stop you in your tracks. According to a ton of industry analysis, up to 95% of AI change projects fail to deliver. 95%. That is just an astronomical failure rate. It means most companies are pouring millions into tech that never actually gets used in a meaningful way.
So, you gotta ask the question, right? Why? If this technology is so revolutionary, why are so many incredibly smart organizations fumbling the ball? Is the AI itself flawed, or is there something deeper going on?
And here it is, the number one mistake isn't the technology. Not at all. It's the approach. Most organizations fail because they just try to bolt AI onto their old ways of doing things. They roll out a new tool, but they don't fundamentally change how the work itself gets done. They're focused on the what, the software, without ever touching the how.
This slide really says it all. It's the old playbook versus the new. The old way treated change like this one-and-done event, a rigid plan that gets pushed down from the top. But the world just doesn't work like that anymore. The winners, they're building a whole new operating system for change itself, one that's all about continuous adaptation, reacting in real time, and getting everyone to own it together. It's a huge shift from thinking of this as a project to building a permanent capability.
Okay, so how do you actually build this new operating system? Well, it stands on 3 really important pillars. And these aren't just corporate buzzwords, They are deeply connected capabilities that winning organizations build from the ground up to make sure change actually sticks.
And here they are: personalization, amplification, and measurement. Each one of these directly fixes a major flaw in traditional change management. And when you put them all together, they create this incredibly powerful engine for driving real adoption. So, first up, personalization. Let's be real, the one-size-fits-all training manual is dead. It just doesn't work. The support a person in finance needs is totally different than what a sales rep needs. An early adopter who's excited about this has completely different questions than a skeptic who's dragging their feet. AI finally lets us customize that change journey for every single person, giving them the right help at exactly the right moment.
And this isn't just a nice theory. The data is pretty shocking. What's so cool about this slide is what it shows us. When companies use AI to personalize this process, they see a 73% higher rate of employee engagement. Let me say that again, 73% higher. That's not a small bump, that's a game changer. It just proves that meeting people where they are is absolutely critical.
The second pillar is amplification. Top-down orders might get you compliance, sure, but they almost never get you commitment. Amplification is all about flipping that script. It's about listening to your employees and making change something you do with them, not to them. With AI, leaders can sift through feedback from thousands of people in near real time, spot issues, and fix them before they turn into major roadblocks.
And the third pillar, oh man, this is a big one, measurement. For decades, we've measured change by tracking busy work. How many people showed up for the training? How many people activated their software license? That tells you, basically, nothing. This new operating system measures what actually matters. Outcomes. Are people actually working differently? Is productivity going up? Has behavior truly changed? That's the stuff that counts.
All right, so we've got our foundation, those 3 pillars. Now we can build on top of that with the 5 strategic principles that really truly separate the winners from the laggards. Think of these as the absolute non-negotiable rules of the game.
Principle number 1, lead with purpose, not features. Seriously, nobody gets excited about a new button in a software program. Nobody. What people get excited about is making their work better, faster, maybe even more meaningful. Leaders have to sell the why. Why are we doing this? Adoption of the tech always follows belief in the purpose.
Principle 2. Predict outcomes. Don't just report history. This is where AI becomes your superpower. Instead of waiting for a quarterly report to tell you that, oops, adoption is totally stalled in the marketing department, you use predictive analytics to see it coming weeks in advance. It's the difference between reading a history book and being a weather forecaster. You can actually intervene before the storm hits.
Principle number 3 is a huge mindset shift. Treat AI as a capability, not a project. See, a project has a start date and an end date. You finish it, you check a box, you move on. A capability is something you build into the DNA of your organization. It's something you evolve forever. AI isn't a one-time install. It's an ongoing journey of reinventing how we work.
Principle 4 is so important. Balance speed with governance. Now this sounds like a paradox, right? Rules slow things down. But here, it's the opposite. Setting up clear guardrails and rules of the road early on actually makes you go faster. It gives people the confidence to experiment and innovate because they know exactly where the boundaries are. It creates psychological safety.
And finally, Principle 5, which brings this all home. Measure results, not activity. Success is not how many people logged in this week. Success is tangible business outcomes. Are we more productive? Is the quality of our work better? Did we actually change how we operate? That is the only scoreboard that matters, period.
So, okay, knowing all these principles is great, but putting them into practice is a whole other beast. So let's quickly look at a high-level roadmap to give you a sense of how you can actually get started on this.
A successful journey really does follow a logical path. You start with a super clear vision of the outcomes you're trying to achieve. Then you build trust with that governance we just talked about. Only then do you get into redesigning workflows, embedding AI into people's day-to-day, and turning your most passionate people into champions for the change.
You know, when you zoom all the way out, this isn't really just about rolling out one piece of technology. This is about building a brand new muscle for your entire organization, resilience. And this slide says it all. The real goal here, the strategic imperative, is to build a company that can adapt and thrive no matter what comes next. That's the prize. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question to really think about. As you look at your own organization, your own team, what is the single biggest obstacle standing in your way? Really answering that question, that's the first step to building your own winning playbook. Thanks for tuning in.